Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to speak a little bit on our introduction, a little bit about marriage and how we navigate our marriage and autism together. So thank you guys for watching. I have seen this channel continue to grow. I'm super excited and I really appreciate the support, the comments, the likes, all of the above. So thank you guys. So to reintroduce myself and my family, I am married to my wonderful husband, going on 8 years this March. We have known each other for about 11 years. Guys, apparently I lose track of numbers when I get in front of the camera. So to correct myself, we have been married for 9 years and we've known each other for 12 years. And it's funny because my son Andrew was carrying this picture around, and this was our dating season. We were about 3 months in here. We went up north to Flagstaff. This was our first trip, actually. Andrew loves to carry that picture around the house. And so Andrew is actually our firstborn. He's the one that was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2.5. And he is the reason why I started this channel. So back in 2020, he was diagnosed with autism. And autism for us for me was a brand new thing, unknown, scary, all these emotions, you know. And so the reason why I have created this channel is to help people that are walking the same walk as me and my husband. So this is a way to share with you all, you know, that there's hope, there's good in the hard. We are believers, so we know that God has put us in this situation and has given us Andrew for a specific reason. We don't take that lightly. We want to be good stewards of the 3 gifts that God has given us. We have Andrew. He is about to be he's about to be 8 years old here in a few months. And then we have our 3-year-old, and then we have our 2-year-old. So we have 3 boys, and our oldest is the one on the spectrum. And so like I was saying, back when he was 2.5, he was diagnosed, and we went through all those feelings. It was a scary feeling, overwhelming feeling as well. And so we navigated that very slowly and very, with a lot of grace with me and my husband. And at the time, I did not want to share with anyone when he just got diagnosed, because it was something that I couldn't take in that day. It took me weeks to take it in, to fully accept it, to fully know or try to understand what autism is, what does this mean for our family. And same with my husband. He took his sweet time to take it in, to navigate it his way. And from what I remember, we navigated it a little bit like on our separate, I don't want to say separate. He was working full time, a job that required him to be there for 50 hours plus. So I mean separate as far as like he was navigating this diagnosis at work and staying busy, and I was home with Andrew. So that's what I mean by separate. And it took us a couple months to get to a position where we could then share it with other family members, where we felt safe to share it, if that makes sense. And so that journey was a lot. Like, it was a lot to take in. And our family was very gracious to kind of let us be and let us sit on it. I do believe on both sides of our family, I knew as a mom, you know, before the diagnosis, that something was going on, that my son needed extra help. But I do want to thank my family for being gracious with us and honoring us where we were at. And so when we did come forward, I do believe it was somewhat of a relief to some of our family members, because they were probably like, okay, they're not in denial, or they're not not seeing the signs. And so that was very sweet of them. And that's really, helpful if you're seeing or currently living this with the family member, a sister, a brother, whoever it is that is having a child on the spectrum and you're seeing the signs, it's a very touchy subject to just go straight to the parent and be like, hey, you need to do this and you need to do that in your son or child, because as a parent, the parent knows. Now, if the parent decides to be in complete denial and you feel like you need to say something and help them out, like nudge them the right direction, just be very careful with your words and how you are going to say it. Like, make sure that there's a lot of love covering your words when you're bringing it to that parent, because it is something that is very touchy and very hard, a little bit heavy, I would say, because once it's out there, it's out there. And I mean, the child needing the help is there. It's just the parent needs to get there. So for us, once we got there, well, first of all, we got the diagnosis at 2.5. We got the services. We got, we did our homework and what we needed to do as far as, applying for help and speech therapy and occupational. Andrew was going to start kinder, so we had an IEP going on. We're here in Arizona. I'm not sure how all of this works in other states, but that's the process. Once you get a diagnosis, you start, doing your homework and doing your research, what you can do to set up your child for success. So that happened, and we started preschool. In preschool, he had a couple of teachers that were doing continuous education on autism spectrum in specific. So I was super happy to see the girls wear their autism spectrum like logo, and they would wear it, I think, like not every Friday, but every couple of Fridays I would see those shirts, and it would make me feel like they are being intentional and Andrew's in good hands. And so that was amazing. So he did 2 years of preschool, and then he did half a year of kinder until it just didn't work out. He started having a really hard time. There was these, reports coming home. He was getting red all of a sudden. I'm not sure what happened, but that ended up being my sign, a couple of clear signs to bring him home and homeschool. So half of the kinder year and on, he came home, and we've been homeschooling ever since. I have shared the milestones in some previous videos if you guys want to take a look at that. And it has been quite the journey, and he has benefited so much from being here at home with us. We get so much time with him. We get to be, present with him, and it's just amazing. Now, I probably would not have decided to homeschool if he didn't have a hard time. If he was still being really good over there in school and he was having a great time, I would have, left him there. But because he was having a hard time, I had to make a decision for our specific situation, our specific son. So I say that to hold some grace with all the parents of how you decide to navigate, the education of your child. Not all sizes fit all. So, okay, so that's the first part I wanted to talk to you guys about, just so you guys know where we're coming from. We have, our 3 boys. Me and my husband are happily married. Keyword there, happy. And so because I have been so blessed to have a very filling marriage where there's mutual understanding, where there's love and respect, and just a lot of grace with one another, a lot of communication. All of those attributes that our marriage holds, because of that, I feel comfortable enough to say, I also have created this channel to help marriages navigating this season and this life moving forward, because it's not just a one-day thing. You have a special needs child that's going to be with you for the rest of your life. And so God willing, I pray that he gives me many, many years. That's one of my biggest prayers, that I get to live till I'm 90 plus in a healthy condition, so I could be there for my kids, my grandkids, and great grandchildren. But this channel, I remember one day when I got the diagnosis, thinking to myself, how do I navigate marriage in this situation? This has been given to us by God. and he has given us Andrew. That is no mistake. God knew from our beginning to end, and he chose me and my husband to have Andrew. And so I was a little bit nervous about how to take care of my marriage and be a good wife and not let go of that or forget about it or set my husband aside and just focus all in on my special needs child. So what I did one day is I went on YouTube, and this is about 6 years ago. I went on YouTube and I typed how to navigate marriage with an autism child. And to my surprise, and it also like scared me, I didn't see much. I just seen like this TED talk that was about 3 minutes talking about yes, a parent that has a child on the spectrum, but nothing about, hey, this is how you carry your marriage, this is how you carry a godly marriage, this is how you navigate these situations, these conversations, like more specific stuff, you know. I don't know if it's making sense to you guys, but I was so like desperate for godly marriage advice, to see that others are in front of me and say it's gonna be okay. They have a special needs child, they have a fruitful marriage, they love on their child, you know, everything's gonna be okay. That's what I was looking for, you know. And again, I thought to myself, maybe if I type it in a different way, different wordings, it's gonna come out, and it just wouldn't. It truly did devastate me. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just like, okay, so I'm on my own. I need to figure this out. In our circle, no one, like we were connected to our church for many years, and no one had a special needs child in our circle. I didn't know anyone in our church. You know, we did have a big church, so I mean, maybe I could have met someone there. I'm not sure. Okay, so like I was saying, in our church, we didn't have anyone directly, specifically saying, hey, we can help you. We have a child on the spectrum, and this is how we navigate it. So with that being said, that's the second point of why I have created this channel. So first of all, Andrew, marriage, and faith. We want to encourage you guys that God has a plan for you and your family. And I hope that this video gives you a little bit of hope and just, you know, the courage to go out there and do life with your family and embrace it and just see the blessing in it. Because as followers of Christ, we don't assume that we're going to have a perfect, beautiful unicorns and rainbow walk here on this earth. In fact, it says the opposite. So this is part of your journey. And then also keep in mind that the end goal is not to have the easiest marriage, the perfect marriage. You know, it's to have a marriage where you keep working at it. You don't give up. And same with your family. You don't give up on your children. And hopefully your children also don't give up on you, you know. And so I'm going to do my very best to always drop pointers. And as I'm learning, I want to also help you guys, and that we all have these tools to navigate marriage with a special needs child. And I do also want to always encourage you to drop some advice on the comments. Give me some pointers. There's gonna be people maybe watching me that have a kid on the spectrum that's a teenager. That's something that we're still years away from, you know. So if I can get some advice ahead of time, I'm always going to be for it, because I'm a work in progress. Even the things that I'm saying and speaking on right now is just in my situation, you know. So there's so much to learn. When you meet someone on the spectrum, you've only met that one on the spectrum. And I want to also encourage those that are watching that are not directly impacted, as far as like, hey, I have a child, but you may have a friend, a coworker, a niece, a nephew, a grandchild. Be very mindful that it's different for every child. So I can't look at Andrew and say, okay, because he does this and he's learned this child needs to, or vice versa. Someone telling me, I don't know, let's say Andrew putting his own shoes on. If someone says, oh my goodness, he's 7 and he doesn't know how to put his shoes on, that's going to be a little bit like messed up, you know, to hear, because it's like, well, if he could, he would, but he can't. And hey, praise God that your child on the spectrum could. So just keep that in mind, that the spectrum is so wide that it's just, I think that parents on the special needs already carry a lot of weight. So to kind of come across, I don't think it's on purpose, but it could be inconsiderate. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm gonna leave you with a pointer here for marriage. Something that we did in the very beginning of our marriage, I would say when we brought Andrew home, is we always kept up with our current love language. So we did take that quiz. And something that my husband recently shared with me that I think it's important for men to hear is, we grew up very different. So me and my husband come from very different backgrounds. And so I am such an emotional, sentimental, I feel like, I think even extra. I don't know why. That's just how I am. And so like, if I see someone crying, I'm gonna cry. If I'm happy, I cry happy tears. If I'm upset, I tear up too. Like, it's just, I show so much emotion. And my husband, on the other hand, does not. And he was explaining to me a few days ago that I kind of brought that out of him because he never knew how to express his emotions. And when he did, he was really harsh, or not thinking about the words that were coming out of his mouth with, you know, his siblings, his parents. And keep in mind, my husband did grow up in a Christian home. Praise God, you know, I thank God for that. And he did know God, and it was just more about, I guess, not having the relationship with God that was a little bit hindering on his side. But he did remind me that when me and him were dating, I would sit down with him and have these deeper conversations and express the why, the reason I was hurt, the reason why I don't want it to happen again, and how I won't treat him that way, so I don't want to be treated that way. And so he was telling me that men in general, maybe because, I don't know, society, or just maybe God created them that way, they're just strong, they're very, I don't know the word, but he's like, we have to just be strong, we have to be strong, but we also have feelings. And that I never really knew, I guess. That's in his words. And so when I came along to be his girlfriend, we had a lot of hurdles because I would get hurt and he wouldn't really see it. And if you have a husband that sounds a little, or a boyfriend or fiance, and you're watching this channel, you know, and my husband is sounding a little similar to yours, I would say to you, keep having those conversations. Us as women are more sensitive, more connected to our feelings, and not afraid to show it, you know? And so for me, I would always like have that communication open. Hey, this is why I'm hurt. This is not okay. You kind of have to set the boundaries, set the bar of like what you're willing to deal with and what you're not willing to deal with, you know? And so with that being said, I want to advise even the wives, if you are way past the dating season and way past the you know, newlyweds, and you're right now listening to this advice, is sit down with your husband, pour out your heart, be vulnerable. Oh my goodness, I said it. Vulnerable with your spouse, and show that you are the weaker vessel. Show that, hey, you need to be very careful around me. You need to be very careful with your words. You need to treat me like I'm this like glass vase in a way, you know, because when girls get hurt, they get hurt. And so I wanted to leave you guys with that. Have those conversations with your husband, and in a way it's a teachable moment. And later on you start seeing that your husband also expresses himself and he's allowed to express himself. I feel like if God didn't mean for guys to have feelings, then they wouldn't have that, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna cry or I'm gonna be upset. But they also have feelings, and we have to also consider their feelings. It's both of us, you know, caring for one another. And that's what marriage is. You water the grass, you water it every day as needed, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but you have to work at your marriage. No one else is going to come and do the work for you or for your spouse. Neither should you want that, you know? So, I mean, I know that there's situations where you do need a mediator. And when that does happen, go and look for that help, you know? But in the meantime, I would just say to the wives, communicate with your husband everything that is in your heart so that you don't have to do this dance over and over again, getting hurt or not aligning in something. You have to talk it out, and your husband will build that muscle as my husband has. He recently was telling me that, hey, if it wasn't for those conversations, I don't think I would be emotionally available for you because I wouldn't know how. And so when we had Andrew 2.5 years later, with that diagnosis, my husband was more emotionally available for me and for our son. And obviously I was there for my husband too, and just carrying each other through. And so I'll leave you guys with that. I am super excited to, you know, navigate this YouTube channel with you guys. I have had a little bit of a hard time sitting down to record and just staying busy, holidays, you name it, you know, a couple of events going on here and there. And as you may see, the sun is going down on me right now. The room is dark, but it's okay. Like, I want to get this out there, and I want to be a help to these couples that are walking the same walk as we are, and just to show you that you're not alone, and it does get better. I would say from 2.5 to almost 8-year-old. And let's see, you know, what God has in store for our family. And I really want to be open and available and vulnerable with you guys in this process, so that we can all learn together, and that we all know that, hey, I don't have it easy either. Like, it's not like, oh, it's unicorns and rainbows. I have my days, I have my struggles as a person. And so when I come through for my husband and my kids, I have to hold, you know, a lot of patience, a lot of grace. Everything that God shows us, we have to also show to others. So yeah, I hope that you guys enjoy this, and that you took at least one thing out of it. And till next time, I hope you guys have a great day. Again, thank you so much for you guys subscribing and liking and dropping some comments. Also, I do want to ask you guys, like, whatever you guys want to see more of on the channel, let me know. I'm here, and if I could be of any help in any area, I will definitely take the challenge and do that video on whatever subject you guys are needing or wanting more of. But until next time, guys, today is Thanksgiving, actually. And so happy Thanksgiving to those that celebrate it, and go and show your family how grateful you are. Go love on your family. And yes, I hope you guys have an amazing evening or rest of your day wherever you're at. And thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, God bless. Bye-bye.